Hey guys, ETJ Writes here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to turn any Kindle book into an audiobook with the help of Speak Screen on your iPhone. Now this may also be an option you can use on other phones such as your Android phone or other smartphones, but I know it works on iPhone, so that's what we're going with today. I love to read. Anyone who knows me knows that. And anyone who knows me also knows that I always say, hey, I'm a very busy person. I'm always short on time. So how do I combine reading with my very hectic life? Well, the answer, as I said before, is Speak Screen. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do that. Turn your Kindle app into an iReader. The regular Kindle itself has a built-in text-to-speech function, but if you don't have a Kindle and you just have the app on your iPhone, this is what you can do. So first of all, you want to set up your iPhone, okay? Once you have the setup completed, you only have to open the app and do like the small little steps to get it to read out loud to you. But first we're going to do the setup. And what you have to do is navigate to settings in your iPhone. Okay? Once you're in settings, the next thing you want to do is find accessibility. Okay? It might be in a different place on different iOS's, but that's where it'll be, is accessibility. We want to go down to spoken content. Again, it might be called something slightly different in older versions of iOS. So once we're in spoken content, and we really want to make sure we don't click voiceover. That's not going to work for what we want. But in spoken content, then we want to make sure that the speak screen is toggled on. Okay? Next, you want to go down and pick your speaking rate. I like right in the middle. Too fast, it's hard to understand. Too slow, it's difficult to stay engaged and pay attention because it's just very slow, and a slow automated voice doesn't have the same nuances as a slow human voice. Okay, so then the next thing we can do is just go ahead and click the voices we want. There are many different languages to choose from. Of course, I've picked English. I like the enhanced Kate. It's a British voice. It's very soothing. It gets most of the pronunciations right most of the time. So once you've got that, an option you can do is, like I said, they get the pronunciations right most of the time, is to go ahead down here, click on pronunciations. Here we go, and you can see the different pronunciations I've got. One that it really gets stuck on is no, with a full stop after it, because for some reason it wants to read it as number. So I've just gone ahead and substituted in the word no, and then it plays it correctly. So that's what I've done for there. And you just want to make sure that when you do that, you select languages and just double check that it's selected for the languages that you want. Otherwise, it's still going to play the old pronunciation. And sometimes it still goes ahead and plays the old pronunciation, but for the most part, it should kick in to the pronunciation that you have chosen. So once we've got that set up, you should be good to go. You can go back and adjust like the speech rate and what voice you want, etc., etc., but you really should only have to do this one time. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and open up our Kindle app. Okay? And I'll be using my own book, THORUNN, the new one, as an example of this. Now, what you want to do is, do you see, if you tap on the screen, it'll bring up some of these little options here. You're going to want to click on that little AA, and it's going to bring up the iPhone, well, the Kindle iPhone app settings. Okay? So what you can do with that is just make sure that you go over to layout, and this version doesn't have it because it's a Kindle version that I've exported myself. But if you would download it from Amazon or other books from Amazon, there's often an option that says continuous scrolling. We don't want continuous scrolling. If continuous scrolling is enabled, this hack will not work. So just make sure that continuous scrolling is toggled to off, and that your settings just look something like this. Don't do anything with locking the screen orientation or anything like that. You want to be able to page back and forth. That's the only way this speak screen will work correctly for us. Okay? So the next thing we want to do is just go ahead and set the brightness levels. So just you can double click on the home page. That will often bring up the control center here. It's just a really easy way to get to the volume and brightness levels. And you usually want to set it pretty low. I'm going to keep it up so you can see what I'm doing, but I usually set it down pretty low when I'm doing this, and I'll explain why in a few moments. Okay, so the next thing we want to do once we've got that set up is to go ahead and get the speak screen started. So the way to do this, now that we've got everything set up in settings, is you just pull down from the top with 2 fingers. Now if you just pull down, hang on here, just making sure that, okay, so if you just pull down with 1 finger, sometimes, or even with 2 fingers if you don't get this quite right, hang on, now it's not pulling down for me. There you go. Sometimes you're going to get the notification center. Okay, do you see that? The notification center? Sometimes you're going to get that. So sometimes you're going to get that. And that's okay. Just swipe it up and try again. But what you want to do is pull down with 2 fingers.
Again, Kenton nodded and slipped out
and
of
then
bed, glancing towards the bedroom
go
his
back
parents shared. A light was on,
and
visible
forward.
through the curtains hanging across the
That's
doorway.
very important.
But he didn't see shadows moving or hear them.
If you don't go backward and forward, it will not toggle the speak screen to go onto the next page. It'll just read to the end of the page and it'll get stuck. And you have to make sure that what it's speaking is lined up with whatever content of the page you're on. Sometimes it starts on the page before, the page after. In that case, exit your Kindle, start the whole process again, and make sure you're on the page you want to be, then swipe backward and forward, okay? The next very important thing, don't do this. Because if you turn your screen off so that it's blank, it's not going to continue reading. So that's one of the reasons we've gone ahead and adjusted the brightness levels before we started, because you're going to have to keep your screen on. So if you put your brightness levels really, really low, then it's not going to eat up all of your battery. So that's very important to make sure that you have your brightness levels down low, and I'll just do that right now. And then this little button right here, just make sure that's down to the side, or else, again, it doesn't work as well as it should. Okay, so that's pretty much what you need to do. Once you've got that set and started reading, you'll be good. If someone calls you or if you back out of the app to check on other settings and other apps and things like that, it will stop and you're gonna have to start the process again. But if you don't have any interruptions, you can go for quite a few hours, as long as your phone battery lasts, and listen to the speak screen. It does take some time getting used to the pronunciations of the voices and the dialogue and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to have different voices for different characters, which is a little sad, unfortunate, and is something you do get with a proper audiobook. But it is an option using the speak screen to get your iPhone to make any Kindle book an audiobook. I've been using it since I guess mid 2019, and I have just gotten through so many books that way. And you can also use it on the Wattpad app and on online readers such as Archive of Our Own, AO3 for fan fiction. There you don't have to mess about with it so much, because anything that's a continuous scroll will just keep reading and just keep reading. But for your iPhone, you just kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit. But once, like I said, you get going, you should be good. So that's all I have for that simple iPhone easy hack. Happy listening. ETJ out.